Welcome to Research Perch from the Massage Therapy Foundation. Short, practical insights into massage therapy research and how it can benefit your practice.
Hello, and welcome to a new edition of Research Perch from the Massage Therapy Foundation. My name is Niki Munk. I am the Research Director for the Foundation, and I am joined today with Dolly Wallace, who is a former Foundation trustee, former AMTA president, and also the chair of our Community Service Awards Review Committee. Hi, Dolly.
Good morning.
Great to
Thank
have
you
you.
for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us or joining me today. We've got a really exciting announcement around the Community Service Awards, and that is that these awards, which have historically been in the range of $1,000 to $5,000, typically $5,000, the award amount is going up. And the Board of Trustees, the Massage Therapy Foundation Board of Trustees and administrative staff have been thinking through this for quite some time and talking with those on the review committee around this. And the amount is going up to $20,000 starting with the 2026 cycle. And we just wanted to have a conversation between Dolly and me to talk a little bit about the impact and reach that these community service awards have had over the years, and then to also talk about what the reviewers are looking for on these awards. So first, we thought we'd give a quick overview around the programming that we've done already with this. So Massage Therapy Foundation has been around for about 35 years, and we've actually been issuing and awarding these community service awards since 1993 and have awarded over $646,000 for these community service awards over the years. Super exciting. We have reached multiple populations, including the seniors, children, folks who are in hospice, caregivers, veterans, survivors of domestic violence and human trafficking, folks with chronic illness, mental health challenges, and many marginalized groups such as immigrants, indigenous communities, and those who are homeless. There has been wide-ranging impact and awards across not just in the U.S. but internationally, and in fact, 10% of those awards that have been given out are to communities that are in neighboring countries, communities including those in Australia, some in Africa, some in Canada, and the like. So across many continents, many countries, many states. So with that, I want to ask you, Dolly, to talk a little bit about your experiences on the Community Service Award Review Committee and talk about some of the trends that you've seen in the applicants and applications that helped inform the foundation trustees around making this exciting change.
Well, we've seen a lot of change over the years, and more international applications are coming in. And like Niki said, from some of the countries that we didn't expect, like Tanzania, Romania, Nigeria, Bosnia. So our name is out there. People are looking for us, which has really been awesome. The committee has a rubric that we go by, and some of the things we look for is thoroughness of the project. Like, is the project described? Is it such that the committee can easily understand the mission, who will be served, and how they'll be served? Staffing, is there sufficient staff for them to carry out what they plan to do? And the perceived need of the population, that's huge with us. And there's been all sorts of populations. Like Niki said, there have been survivors of burns that they've asked for a grant. People whose family are incarcerated, those people I have applied. Some that we just didn't expect. You think your everyday ones, breast cancer survivors, but some of the indigenous and some in the rural countries that don't have access to help. So the spectrum has been huge with the applications. So the perceived need, we look for that. And the appropriateness that they ask for the money, are they going to be able to serve the number of people, and how many massages are they going to get? What's the duration of the massage? Also, the level of volunteerism. We like to see them not just ask for the money to pay their staff. We would like to see some volunteerism involved with that. And the appropriateness of the budget, how they plan to use it. Is it, well, do they have the resources to successfully complete the project? That's huge. And then the objectives and evaluations. So we want to make sure that the mission goes with the budget and all of that. Project sustainability. If the money is awarded, are they going to be able to sustain it? Have they asked for enough to sustain the project? And then to the overall impact of the project. What positive contribution can MTF Grant make for this community? So we look at all those things, and we have about 10 members on our committee, and we go over this rubric. And this year we're updating the rubric because it's a whole different award this year. So we're excited.
Absolutely. Well, and there's always been intention to collect data and information from the awardees, those who are doing the project. Understandably, it is sometimes hard to, this is different from a research project or a research study where outcomes and things like that are really clearly defined. But one of the intentions for this change in increasing the amount is to make it more feasible also for some of that almost programmatic evaluation type information and data could be collected and reported, so that we're able to document and clearly document the impact and reach of these different programs and these different communities that our awards are going into. Is that an accurate?
That's excellent. Yes. Yes. Because
Fantastic.
and sometimes too, it's like with these international applications, the dollar value is different. So in some countries, the US dollar
Yes.
goes a whole lot further. So we take all of that into consideration. If it's a US application, is that money going to go far enough? Whereas if it's an international, that money might go further in that country. So all these things are looked at.
Well, and remind me too, it's my understanding that we have seen, while we may not, have we seen a decline in the amount of applications that are US based, or is it simply that we've seen an increase in international applications?
No, we've seen a decline in the US applications.
There was concern that the amount of money that was awarded was a little bit inhibitive for those in the US because $5,000 doesn't necessarily go as far, and particularly for the kind of reporting that we're asking for.
And that's true. You may see with that amount of money, maybe the recipients may only get 1 or 2 massages over a 6-month period. Can that really make a difference? And so that's what we look at, all of those things.
Yeah. So exciting opportunities for those who are working in the community and wanting to continue having impact with massage therapy in those communities. We, with this increased amount for the award, the expectation is that we won't be able to award as many projects each year. We have typically awarded anywhere from 4 to 6 $5,000 awards. And now that we've upped that amount to $20,000, the expectation is that we'll be looking at 1 to 2 awards each year. And also there's a bit of, let's see what happens with what kind of applications are we going to be receiving. I know that to inform how we go moving forward. But I know from the Research Grant Review Committee perspective, I know that there are several times that we have received applications for research grants that really aren't appropriate for, or it's not a research study that they're wanting to do, and that they've really identified and targeted the wrong mechanism really to fund their work and their project, and that it is more in line with a community service award. Because of there's not a research design per se, there's not specific aims and outcomes that are moving a research program forward. But the budget for those sorts of projects are more in line with the $30,000 research mechanism that the foundation has. And so by increasing this community service award, the expectation that those folks will be putting their applications and projects in a more appropriate mechanism will be happening. So I'm looking forward to seeing if that does transpire.
Well, and the committee was really excited with the change. I shared the news with them after the trustees made this decision, and every committee member responded, "This is great. We get to have a better impact, a bigger impact." So it was really exciting for all the committee members.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, as you said, the committee and Massage Therapy Foundation staff are working on revising not only the rubric by which the proposals will be assessed, but also the guidelines to take in the change in the amount awarded, but then also the changes of expectations of what the folks who are identified as the leaders of these different community projects, of how they'll be able to, or how they'll be expected to report back some of these impact and programmatic outcomes for our records, and then also to potentially disseminate and help, even though it's not research. It's not research per se. It is information that's coming out of practice, the practice of massage therapy, and being able to collect that information to disseminate so that it can have some of that practice reflective information of how massage is being utilized and to what effect out in our communities. So super excited for that as well. My understanding is that the intention is for the cycle to open on January 1 of 2026. So kicking off the cycle year right on the date the year begins. And I believe we just got confirmation as to when the closing date for this Community Service Award will be March 15th in 2026. So the cycle will be open for applicants for a couple, 2.5 months, at which point then the review committee will have the proposals in their hands for review and decision.
Sounds awesome.
All right. Is there any other piece that you would like to share about the Community Service Awards historically or moving forward?
Historically, it's been really rewarding. We don't hear back from a lot of them. They do report back to staff. The committee doesn't get a lot of that information, but every once in a while, staff is so excited they'll share, like, this really made a difference. They served this many people, and then they've received additional funding so they can continue the program.
That's
So
fantastic.
they do
Yeah.
have some sustainability. So that's one thing we really look for. It's like, is this a one and done? Or are they going to be able to sustain this for that population? So we've gotten some really good feedback.
Well, and there's also those videos that are coming in from some of the groups put together, the videos showing some of the recipients and impact. Those are super fun to see on the Massage Therapy Foundation website.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Dolly, and talking about
Thank
this.
you.
I'm super excited as a former trustee and now in my administrative role to be able to see how these changes, with the results of these changes, and to see what kind of applications we get. And we will look forward to seeing the project ideas and the work that's being done that the foundation can support. So thank you all for joining us, and join us again next time when we talk about other things going on with the foundation. Thanks, Dolly.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider donating to the Massage Therapy Foundation so that we can continue to bring you this and many other resources to increase your knowledge and improve your practice. Thank you.